If you're struggling in life, then you are definitely not alone. I'm struggling too, and I would love to share my experiences in learning to struggle a little less with you. I have always been really curious about the human experience and why we think and feel what we do, and I have always thought about the meaning of existence ever since I can remember. I remember being 9 years old, lying in bed at night thinking about the fact that I wouldn't exist one day, and it would just totally pop my brain. I've always wondered whether I should bother posting videos or not because I haven't been sure that I've had anything of significant value to help other people. However, I feel helping people is what I do in my personal life, and even if this just helped one person feel a little less alone in what they experience, that would be really cool to me. I would love to share my journey of going through self-work and hopefully be able to offer you some possible solutions that could help you in your struggles as well. At the very least, I'd love to be able to offer some comfort if you're able to relate to anything that I've experienced. I've gone through a lot of unbearable anxiety, and to be honest, I've reached a lot of low points where I felt like I've just had no idea how to cope or to be able to feel hopeful for the future. I have really had to learn ways to be able to dig myself out of those darker places within my own mind. I think that there are very universal problems that we all face that stem from a deeper place, even if they might present themselves differently from person to person. Those that are close to me have often told me that they feel like my sensitivity to others' needs is almost abnormal. To be honest, I do find that my empathy levels can be quite a blessing and a curse at the same time, and I have had to learn ways to navigate it because I do feel things very deeply. I've gone through the challenges of discovering my sexuality as a queer person growing up, and I was diagnosed with OCD and health anxiety at a fairly young age. I have also experienced some of the many physical symptoms of anxiety, and that has been especially difficult to navigate as somebody with health anxiety because it becomes quite a vicious cycle, and that is something that I've really had to learn to deal with. And honestly, I'm still learning how to deal with that today. I also lost my dad when I was 22, and so I had to really learn how to deal with grief and get used to that big adjustment in my life. All of this has forced me to look deeper into myself and my childhood as to why I am the way that I am, and it does really fascinate me. So many of us are lost and are dealing with problems that often feel invisible to others, and we just want to feel like we aren't alone in the problems that we are dealing with. There are so many people dealing with loneliness today, including myself. Even though I do think that you are the one that has to be able to get yourself out of your own dark places because you're the one that's stuck with yourself 24/7. It is still really important to try and have a support system around you because you just can't do everything by yourself all the time. I know that everyone is not fortunate enough to have that in their life, and so hey, that's why I'm here. For the last several years, I have spent most of my personal time learning about personal development, how to build habits, how our childhood impacts us into adulthood, how anxiety works, mindfulness and meditation, learning about relationships, and so much more. I'm always trying to practice being in the present moment, even though that can obviously be really difficult at times. I think, especially today, a lot of our attention spans are becoming shorter and shorter, and so it's more important than ever to be able to learn how to be in the present. I think it's really important to have as much compassion for yourself as possible, as well as self-acceptance and self-responsibility. At a certain point in my life, I realized that in order to see real change, I had to be the one to go within myself and make those changes to live a better life and not expect the world around me to do that for me. I do think that too often we lean towards external things fixing whatever's going on internally, and really it is the kind of internal journey that needs to take place. I feel like there is a lot of positivity in the self-help space, which is obviously definitely needed and has its place, but I do think that we need more room to be able to talk about the things that we're dealing with that we do find really difficult in order to be able to heal from them. I think learning to accept what is and what we can and can't control is ultimately what gives your ability to let go of the difficult things that you're struggling with to live a more content and balanced life. I think that really most of us just have no idea what the hell we're doing a lot of the time and are just trying to get by day. There is obviously so much beauty in the world, and I'm all about gratitude and just trying to find joy in the smallest moments of your day. I actually think that the more simple things are what bring the most happiness in life. I do think that life is just a series of different problems to navigate, and although that might sound negative to some people, I actually find it incredibly liberating, because once you realize that life inevitably is full of suffering as well as all of the good things that happen, you are better prepared to deal with problems as they arise. You also just don't expect problems to miraculously disappear one day as though you're never going to have another problem again. The last several years have definitely been full on for me, to say the least, and joy is not something that has come easily to me these days. I want to use this channel as a way of finding community and like-minded people, as well as people that have different views, because that's still interesting to me. I want to be able to make one person such as yourself feel a little less alone in the world in what you experience. I know what it feels like to just have so much dread and hopelessness kind of take over your life, and it's so hard to feel like you can come out the other end. I do want to share with you that things do get better, and that everything in life is temporary, and that is true for good things and the harder things. You might not know how it will get better yet, and that is okay. You don't have to know how, but just know that it will. Even with all the difficult things that I've been through, and as difficult as they have been, I do think that I've learned a lot of lessons from them. Ultimately, I do think that it has helped me grow as a person and become more and more authentically myself. I would love to challenge myself to grow out of my comfort zone and make these videos and talk about the things that I think are worth talking about. I do think this channel will be a great opportunity to hold myself accountable and to connect with you. There are still things that do bring me joy, such as my family, my cat. I love cooking vegan food and getting into nature, traveling and reading. I'm actually going to Japan this year in April, and I would love to share that experience with you. I hope to be able to offer you some comfort if you are able to relate at all to anything that I experience, and hopefully can offer you some possible solutions to help you with your struggles too. So, if you have any type of anxiety and want to learn some possible ways to cope with it from things that I've learned, then watch my next video. Please feel free to subscribe, and thanks for watching. Have a lovely day.